All right, we back here with another episode of No Line, No Bull. We have Tammy Jackson here, real estate agent and broker.
I am managing broker and owner.
And owner.
And
You
owner,
done
yes.
stepped up since the
I
last
have,
time.
I have.
All right, let's tell the people a little bit about yourself and what you do.
So my name is Tammy Jackson. I am owner of KM Realty Group, which is named after my favorite two people in the world, my sons. I've been in real estate for about 25 years. I started in college, and about 5 years ago, I decided to step out on faith and do my own thing.
Okay. So if you had to describe yourself in 3 words to everybody, what would that be?
Determined. Number one, I am determined. I refuse to fail. I do not take no for an answer, because I always figure there's another way around. That's just a redirection. Strong, and I don't mean in the word, when I say strong, I don't mean like when people say, oh, she's a strong woman. I am strong in my business desires. I'm strong in what I'm going to give you and what I expect from you as a client. And personable. I'll say very personable. I believe in just, everybody's the same. I don't care what you have. You got $2, you're good. If you got $2 million, you're good. It doesn't matter. So everybody gets the same treatment.
Yes, ma'am. So let's talk about, how did you get started in this industry with the real estate and the managing?
You ain't gonna believe this, but in college, I was trying to graduate. At least I thought I was going to graduate that semester, and I needed an elective. So it was like a 6-hour elective. So I decided to take a real estate class late at night, 6 to 8:50, Tuesdays and Thursday nights. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I fell in love with real estate at that moment. Just the whole class was wonderful. The people were wonderful. So then I decided, I got stuck there another semester, and I started doing rentals to my friends. Everybody's looking for a rental,
Yeah.
needed to, in college, you run around trying to figure out everybody staying in the same area.
Uh-huh.
So I kind of had people branching out. So I did that for about 6 months. And after that, I moved to Chicago. So I kind of stopped, for a while, for a long time.
Oh, okay. Okay, so like, what were some of the biggest challenges you faced early on in the real estate?
So everybody wants to run out and get their real estate license and think that, oh, it's just easy money. And you're looking for someone just to give you a client. And I tell my agents now, it's only so many referrals people are going to give you.
Yeah.
You have to get out there and you have to mingle. You have to talk to people. You have to, everything is word of mouth.
Yep.
I'm selling now I sold to these people parents 15 years ago. Now I'm selling to their children's children. And when you treat people the right way, they send those referrals back to you
Yes,
all
they
the
do.
time.
Yes,
So that's
they
like
do.
the best thing that's happening for me, referral business. So you have to be willing to work this business. You can't just sit around and say, oh, I'm not getting any referrals from my office. I'm not getting. Nobody's gonna spoon feed you.
Or thinking the deal gonna fall out of the air and be like, oh.
That's what they think. I actually have agents who's like, since I do property management also, so
Yeah.
I have people that think like, oh, I didn't get any calls from the office this week. The office is not your only, lifeline. You have to be out here working your business yourself.
Yeah.
And you cannot expect family members, because they buying a house to use you. Because that's the biggest thing. That's a big problem. We'll talk about that one too. Thinking that family members are going to be your support staff.
And
They're
friends.
not. They're not.
Their friends and family will not be your support.
They're not going to let you sell to them.
Yeah, I tell people all the time, if you think your business gonna strive off friends and family, expect to get disappointed all day long. So let's talk about, when did you realize this was the right path you was on with real estate?
When it became my peace. And I said that, working a 9-to-5 job, trying to support your family, and then having a love for something. And no matter how tired you are, you still do it.
Yeah.
You still go in the cold, lock boxes frozen, and you spraying them.
Yeah.
That's when I realized that this was my passion. And this is like something that I don't want to give up.
Oh, yeah. I know.
I love seeing, people that, when I talk to people and they're like, oh, well, I need about $30,000 to buy a house. I said, no, you don't. And they're just so uneducated.
Yep.
That they don't know. And I bought my first house when I was 23 years old, married,
Yep.
Coming to Chicago, didn't know where I was, what was going to happen. Was living in a basement of a 3-flat, and I'm like, this don't work for me. And
Exactly.
so.
So, okay, what are some of the misconceptions people have about real estate?
When you say people, what do you mean? Are you saying
Clients,
clients, or are you saying
and people looking to buy
buy?
real estate.
Okay, so people looking to buy that, they can't afford it. That's the most misconception. People believe that they cannot afford a house. I have some clients now that are in their late 70s, and they did not realize that they could buy a house. And they had good jobs,
Yeah.
credit was good, but they never, felt comfortable enough asking somebody, how do I do this? How do I get started, or whatever? And after talking to me on the phone, they're like, I feel so good and so comfortable with you. I was like, yeah, I got you. No question is stupid.
No.
It's the only question that's stupid is when you don't ask.
Ask it. Yeah.
So you can ask me anything. And misconception, you can afford a house. Don't think about the car. Leave that car where it is, because you can go the day you close on that house and go buy that car. So, I wanted to upgrade my house. My family, we're a young family. We started off in a 2-bedroom townhouse. We wanted to upgrade.
Okay.
I'm like this. I just stopped doing everything. We didn't buy Christmas presents for people that year. I was like, we didn't buy each other Christmas presents that year. Only our kids, our household. And by that June, we were in our new house.
Yeah.
A much bigger house.
Yeah.
And it's just things you got, you just have to, make some sacrifices.
That's one of my things I tell people. What are you willing to do to get ahead? You got to sacrifice on the front end to reap the benefits on the back.
Absolutely. And that's why you're able to move around the way you do.
Yeah.
And live this life.
You got to.
I would say your job allows you to pay your bills. Your extra or whatever you want to do allows you to live.
Yeah.
So you got to be willing to jump and try to, have more than one stream of income and jump.
Yeah. You got to be like an octopus out here. You can't have no just one arm trying to work and, sustain you and the family. You got to have multiple streams of income.
You have to.
You got to. Okay, so with the real estate, how do you stay in front of trends in your field?
Look, you've been in this game as long, it's not as longer than I have or whatever.
27 years.
Yeah, so longer to be.
Yeah.
So, as an investor and as your wife's selling real estate, you see it all. You guys, where this year you might have made 600,000. This year you might have been barely hanging on to that 150.
Yeah, you right.
So it's just about it's just like about wanting it, and just knowing how to maneuver around, the ups and the downs.
Yeah.
Because I will tell you, 1 week, I know 4 deals in 1 week.
Wow.
That broke my heart. I'm like, what the hell? I was like, you know what? I need a drink.
Right.
And you're like, what is happening? So now when stuff like that happens, I used to be all upset and all like this, but now I'm like, oh, okay, that's just a redirection.
There you go. Pivot.
I had 2 deals.
Pivot.
I had 2 deals last month that were, they was like, they canceling deals and I'm closing. And I'm like, I just started relaxing and just letting it happen.
Yeah.
Just making it happen.
Let it go flow. Let it just flow naturally.
Right.
Okay. Well, what type of advice would you give someone that wants to get in real estate?
You got to be ready to work. This is not for the faint at heart. This is not for, if you're going to be an investor, you got to be willing to make some hard choices, some hard decisions.
Okay.
And not always think that you have to use friends and family to get this going. And I would tell anybody that sometimes business and family and friends don't mix.
At all.
So you have to decide. Everybody can't go with you.
Nope.
Everybody's not supposed to go where you're going.
Nope.
Because that's your dream. Your dream might be to invest, to grow your portfolio. And if that's your dream, jump. You ain't got to explain it to nobody. Just be ready to do it.
You got to. Do you have any big influences in your career, in your life?
Oh yeah.
Let's talk about them. Who is
my main person? My kids were my driving force because I always wanted to give them more than I had.
Okay.
And I come from a small town in Mississippi where, when I say small, it's like backwater USA, but I love my hometown. Don't get me wrong now.
What's the
love
hometown? Let's talk
Natchez, Mississippi, baby.
Woo.
I love that place.
Okay.
Whenever things are hard here or not good, I can go there and I come back refreshed and ready to fight the world.
Rejuvenated.
But my mom, I
Okay.
just, my mom, single parent, raised 6 kids. The only thing we
Wow.
ever heard was, I want you guys to go to college. I don't want you guys to be, like me, working, this hard. She got 6 kids. All of us have bachelor degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody has something, most of us have masters. I think
Okay.
maybe, one person or something, but
Mm-hmm.
that's it.
Yeah.
But that lady told us every day, I want y'all to go to school. That's all
Okay.
y'all need to do is go to school, go to school, go to school. We heard that every day.
Mm-hmm.
And we did it.
Okay.
A single parent did that. And I was just telling her, you did all of this.
Yeah.
This is not us. I have done nothing. So we have broken so many generational,
Curses.
curses,
Mm-hmm.
like, being married,
Yeah.
having kids, college, when we take her on trips or we're doing something for us, this is stuff my mom never thought she would even see. And then
Yeah.
being from a small town, these things I never thought I would see, but I got out. I got
Mm-hmm.
out, and a lot of my friends did, and we just like living these totally different lives that I couldn't even dreamed of.
That's good. That's good. How do you handle setbacks and failures?
So we all have them, had a
Oh,
lot of them.
most definitely.
I am that person who I could walk around and my whole world falling down, and you'll never know it.
Mm-hmm.
I may look a little sad, but I'm never gonna put it, out there.
Mm-hmm.
So I sit back and I reflect. I do a lot of writing, my
Okay.
pros and my cons. Hey, this is what you did that got you to this point. What did you do wrong that allowed this to happen?
There you go.
And I do know, and I'll tell you, God is first, because I do believe that whatever God has said,
Mm-hmm.
whatever He has on your path, you can't change it.
No,
And nobody, no matter what anybody says, it is what it is.
it most definitely is.
But I pray daily.
Okay.
I read my prayer, my scripture daily, and I
Mm-hmm.
just, I fight. I come up fighting. At the end of the day, I will go to sleep. I keep, this is my little secret now. And it's not going to be a secret after this, but I have a book by my bed.
Okay.
My book. Here's my little blue book. This is
Okay.
what I write in.
Okay.
This book is 2 years worth of writing.
So it's like a journal?
Yeah, no, it's like I'm in the middle of the night, I'm asleep,
Mm-hmm.
and something comes to my mind
You
that I
write
want
it
to
down.
do. Because if I got a problem,
Mm-hmm.
it'd be on your mind.
Mm-hmm.
I'll wake up and be like, I got 4 solutions.
There you go.
Here I have 4 solutions now.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, which one of these gonna work? And I do that all the time. Or if
Okay.
I forgot to do something that day, I'll wake up and be like, oh, I forgot to do this. Put it on my list or whatever and go back to sleep.
Yeah.
And I know people think it's crazy, but
It don't
I
sound crazy to me.
I wake up and it's like a whole different, thing about how I'm finna tackle this. Oh, I got
Tackle
4 different ways to go at this.
it. Yep.
Let's see which one gonna work.
Yep. There you go. There you go.
And I don't mind sharing. That's a big thing. I mean, there's enough money out here for everybody.
Everybody.
And you have to be willing to like, give somebody some a prop up.
Mm-hmm.
If I know something that we both can make money off of, it's enough money for us all to eat.
Most
So don't
definitely
keep it a
is.
secret. Share what you know.
There you go. Please share it. Let's get into a little fun and little offbeat questions. If you could have dinner with 3 people, dead or alive, who would they be?
Wow, now that's deep. I would say Maya Angelou,
Okay.
and that's just because the wisdom.
Okay.
And if you look at some of her interviews and some of the things she said,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're living them.
Yeah.
We're living them. And my other person I'll be would have to be Malcolm X.
Okay.
I believe, I was just talking about him this morning to one of my sons, and we were talking about, his whole life or whatever. The man was on his way to greatness.
He was.
He was on his way to greatness. And his story right there teaches us that people who you think are your friends aren't your friends.
Yeah.
And you have to watch the company that you keep.
Yeah. Most definitely.
And the third person? I don't know. I will tell you what I like to do, though. Sometimes you're looking at old movies and stuff like that, and you're wondering, like, where would I have been during that time?
During that time, yeah.
How would I have impacted the world? What kind of impact could I have put out there? Like, my aunt was with Martin Luther King when they did a march. She was actually locked up in Mississippi. Her and a couple of my aunts were actually locked up doing a march.
Right.
So I just, wanted to wanted to put my stamp on something.
Yeah.
So that third person is hard. That's a hard one. I do say Martin Luther King because I do think he, added a lot. And one thing he says, if we don't get this together, our children's children will be back walking.
Oh yeah.
And that's where we're headed to if people don't get it together.
We got to.
We're at a different point in our lives. Our generations have grown and grown. Now these kids today, I don't know where they came from.
Yeah, it's kind of like they reversing.
And you remember I don't know if you remember the talk where they say that my father walked. I drove to school. My children, my son will drive. My children's children will be back walking.
Yeah.
If they don't get it together, they're gonna be back walking.
Back walking. When I asked that question about what three people you can sit down with, dead or alive, or have dinner with, one young lady told us Adolf Hitler. The reason she said it, and it boggled us too, she said, the reason I want to sit down with Adolf Hitler, because of the power. She said power is power, good power, bad power. I still want to pick his mind. And we was like, wow.
What made you do that?
Yeah.
But it shows you too, what made people follow him.
That's what she was talking about.
How could you follow? But that just shows you how weak the mind is.
Yeah.
The mind is a very weak thing. I mean, we're looking at it right now.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
We're looking at it right now. I mean, the mind is weak.
Yeah.
And, I didn't think about it's nothing that he could teach me, but just to ask him why. Why would you do that to somebody?
Yeah.
Why would you do the things that you've done?
Yeah, exactly. Let's go into when you try and get your day going. You know what I'm saying? What's one of your songs you go to get your day
Real
going?
happy.
Okay.
Let me tell you, I listen to that song like when I feel like I'm not there or whatever, or I'm finna do a meeting or something and a Zoom. I'll put that on a Zoom if I'm about to do some training with my agents.
Okay.
I'm gonna play that, happy movie. I'm like, hey guys, it's about making that money. So to get myself,
and they get them
I need
going
that
too.
pickup, right? I need that pickup in the morning,
Yeah.
and I'll turn the music on. And I'm dancing around or whatever, just getting dressed or whatever. Phone ringing at 6 a.m. I'm like, oh, not this morning, because you take that one call and it'll take your whole day
It'll
off.
mess your whole day up. Yep, it definitely would. If you weren't doing this, real estate, managing properties, what else you be doing?
That's hard to say. So, I have a degree in a master's in counseling.
Okay.
And, I used to teach. I used to be a teacher. So teaching wasn't my thing, but maybe counseling on a higher level, not at a student level,
Okay.
on a higher level, because I would tell anybody, I believe mental illness is real.
It is.
And, we need more money for, instead of cutting those programs, we need more of them. So I definitely would, my dream, I had $100 million. Even I had, $60 million. I'm telling you what I want. I'm calling these numbers out because I'm telling God what I'm asking for now.
You got
telling
to.
God what I'm asking for. I got to ask what I want.
Yeah.
But I would love to have a shelter.
You just like
a
me.
real shelter. I want a shelter where you're not just coming there spending the night and getting out in the morning. I want that shelter to be a home. If I got to have these 3 floors are for women, these 3 floors are for men or for families. For families that got this floor, men, single women, and I'm watching, security. But I want to give these people a hand up.
Yeah.
This way you come back to every day. You ain't got to pick up your stuff and walk out every day.
Yeah.
You're going to lock your stuff up because you got a little room. You're going to lock your stuff up. And you got 6 months here to get yourself together. And we're going to help you get a job
With
and get you
programs and everything.
reacclimated. That's really what I want.
You just like me. Exactly what I want to do. I got to do it.
I want to give back. I just want to give back.
Got to. Because if you prospering in life, you have to give back to help other people. Because it can be just a conversation, a class, anything to help that person get on path.
I was just on the elevator, just say 6 months ago, and this lady was getting off the elevator. And I noticed how sad she was. And I stopped. I said, hey, are you okay? And she started crying. I didn't realize her boyfriend had just died. She'd been with him like 20 years.
Okay.
And she's crying. I stood there and talked to this lady for 2 hours. And it was just something in me that day that says, talk to her. So you never know what you doing that one day could change somebody's life. Or just saying, hi, good morning, are you okay?
Yeah, that's all. Yeah. So let's go next to any what you got, like any exciting projects coming up?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I am actually about to purchase a 6-unit building for myself, because now residual income is everything. In the real estate business, you know, you make a lot of money, you can make a lot of money, you can not make some money, but you need to have that everyday income. So at the age I am now, and don't worry about my age, people, okay? But what I'm doing now is I want to put myself in a position where I got, you know, just say if it's $20,000 a month that I know firm go hit my account every month.
Yep.
Or, you know, rentals is up and down,
Mm-hmm.
but I need that money because I'm ready for that next phase of my life.
Okay.
I'm ready to say, hey, I live in Costa Rica.
There you go.
During the summertime,
Mm-hmm.
during the, you know, wintertime, and, you know, I'm back in Chicago during the
Chicago.
summer,
Yep.
you know, hanging out, or the United States. But that's what I really want. I don't want to, you know, be tied down like this.
Yeah. Summertime shy. Ain't nothing like it.
Right. Right.
Where can people follow you and support your work?
Where?
Yeah, where?
Hey, I have my website, which is kmrealtygroup.net. I have my Facebook, which is KM Realty Group, at KM Realty, at Chicago KM Realty Group.
Mm-hmm.
I have every social media site out there. I have a great social media person. I have Instagram. I have sites that I don't even know the name of. I'm just going to be honest with you guys.
Yeah, I know you on Facebook, you on Instagram, you on X, you on LinkedIn, because you always popping up on my feed.
Yep. Yep. And you see, posting is everything.
It is.
Posting is everything. Now, what I have to get better at is actually talking. So that's my
Okay.
thing. I got to talk more or
And
whatever.
interact with the
Interact with people. But
mm-hmm.
I'm on every site there is. And I do heavy advertising. And I look at some of my numbers some days. I'm like, I had 20,000 hits on my website.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, bring that business on over here.
There you go.
Come on over here.
Uh-huh.
You know, so...
Uh-huh.
And I'm growing. My agents are growing.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm a small boutique agency, but, people are calling. People want to join or whatever. I don't do a lot of fees and stuff, because my first thing is, when I came out of real estate school, I was all excited. And then it's like, okay, you got to pay $1,200 to join. Then they want a monthly fee of $100 a month.
Yep.
I don't have no money for all of that.
Yeah.
So guess what? This is what we do. We work here like, okay, come on, and we're going to work everything out.
Mm-hmm.
You have your contract, but them monthly fees, they for somebody else.
Somebody else. Yeah, well, people gonna like to work with you anyway. That's why we was working together.
Yeah, for a long
you
time.
good to work with, easy going. You need you. You can call you and you pick up and you like, hey, let's get it done.
Somebody else told me, they's like, you answer your phone. I'm
You
like,
do.
I do.
You do.
I do. And I try to treat everybody the same. Now, I'm not saying I don't get ugly and I don't get upset. I'm not going to say that. But I believe in, like, I'm going to give you the best customer service I
You
can.
got good customer service.
And I got your back.
Yep, you definitely do. Okay, let's wrap it on up, and you can give the audience any last words of wisdom that you want to
Jump.
give.
It's your time. Do not wait. If it's something you want to do, jump. This life is short. You don't know what's going to happen. Don't woulda, coulda, shoulda. Does not matter. Do it. Do it. I ain't saying go out there and quit your job tomorrow.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is, you got to dig deep and find it, and to do both.
Yeah.
You can do your passion and do a job. You just got to decide what you're going to give up to do both of them.
Yeah.
That's a little tea for you.
There you go. There you go. All right, we're wrapping up with another episode of No Line, No Bull with Tammy Jackson.
Thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am.